Hey everyone, it's Justin again. Welcome back to another lesson on quadratics. In this lesson, we'll be completing our toolbox of methods for solving quadratic equations with a third and final strategy. On the cover sheet of your PDF, you had this warm-up equation. If you haven't had a chance to work on it yet, pause the video to do that now. Let's see how this equation would be solved with the methods we've learned so far. As mentioned in the PDF, to use factoring or the quadratic formula, we need the equation in the standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So some preliminary work is required. We can expand the x minus 2 squared, which we know is equal to x minus 2 times x minus 2. Multiplying these results in x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4. And then we can combine like terms. Next, we subtract 25 on both sides to get a 0 on the right. Now that we have it in standard form, let's go over the process for each method of solving this equation. To solve by factoring, we factor the quadratic as x minus 7 times x plus 3. Then we set each factor to equal 0 and solve each equation. Our first solution is x equals 7, and our second solution is x equals negative 3. To solve with the quadratic formula, we have that a is 1, b is negative 4, and c is negative 21. Then we substitute these values into the formula and simplify. Our first solution is 14 over 2, which is 7, and our second solution is negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. Ugh. Well, that seemed like a lot of work. Maybe there's a more efficient way to solve an equation that's set up in this particular way. Thankfully, there is another method that would have solved this equation way more efficiently. To understand this new strategy, though, let's take a look at a similar but simpler equation. X squared equals 9. Pause the video here and try to predict what the solution will be just by examining the equation. Here, we're pretty much asking ourselves, what number squared is 9? Well, we know that 3 squared is 9, so that's a solution. But is 3 the only number that when squared is 9? There's another. We know that negative 3 squared is also 9. But wait, haven't we been using this exact same thinking to do something else recently? What comes to mind when I say, what number squared is 9? Yes, Mia, all we did here was find the square roots of 9. This is why a common strategy used to solve an equation like this is what we call taking the square root of both sides. Just like how we can add, subtract, multiply, or divide on both sides of an equation to cancel out operations, we can take the square root of both sides to cancel out or undo the squaring of the x. However, as soon as we do this, we must write a plus minus sign in front of the square root symbol on the right, because we know there are two numbers that work, positive and negative 3. Now, pause the video and think about how you'd use this strategy with the warm-up equation. Here's how it would go. We take the square root of both sides, put in that plus minus, and cancel the exponent. Square root of 25 is 5, and then to leave x alone, we get rid of the minus 2 by adding 2 on both sides. Because of the plus minus, we know we need to add this 2 to both positive 5 and negative 5. Our first solution is 5 plus 2, which is 7. And our second solution is negative 5 plus 2, which is negative 3. Ta-da! Much quicker than the previous methods, right? You might have noticed that these equations we solved with square roots had the x contained inside a square. It turns out we can transform any quadratic equation to look like these equations in a process called completing the square, so that we can solve them with square roots. But first, let's make sure we remember the definition of a square. A shape might look like a square, but unless the side lengths are identical, it's just a rectangle. Yep, Mia, not a square. Yes, now it is. In the upcoming examples, our job will be to use completing the square to transform different kinds of quadratic equations into the form x plus something squared equals something, which is just like the warm-up equation, and it has the x contained inside of a square. Let's call that first something p and the other one q. X plus p squared is literally saying that we are multiplying x plus p times itself, which we can visualize with an area model. And how are we sure that this is actually a square? Because the side lengths are in fact equal. Now we're ready to start building squares. Let's take a look at 3 examples of how to use this new method to solve quadratic equations. Here's our first example. It says, solve x squared plus 6x equals 40 by completing the square. Remember, the goal is to transform this equation into this form and then solve it with square roots. Let's first visualize our equation with some areas. Notice that x squared is already a square with sides x and x. All we need to do is accommodate that 6x with it into a bigger square by extending both sides equally. How do you think we should fit that 6x in here? Pause the video to give it some thought. What do you say we split that 6x in half? We can then arrange each half next to the x squared, making each side of our big square x plus 3. And then these 3 pieces together equal 40. Since our area model has equal side lengths, we have officially created a perfect square. But wait, not so fast. Something seems off, right? It seems like this square is not yet complete. It feels like we need to complete this square. What do you think should go in that remaining box? It would have to be 3 times 3, which is 9. Hold on, though. We just added 9 to one side of an equation, which throws our equation off balance. How do we balance out that extra 9 we added on the left side? We just add it on the right side, too. Now our entire left side is the product x plus 3 times x plus 3, which we can rewrite as x plus 3 squared. And on the right side, we get 40 plus 9, which is 49. We finally have the equation exactly in the form we wanted. Now let's just isolate x by taking the square root of both sides to cancel the square. The square root of 49 is 7, and then let's subtract 3 on both sides. Our solutions are 7 minus 3, which is 4, and negative 7 minus 3, which is negative 10. Now that we have a new method in our toolbox, let's apply it to another example, which asks us to solve x squared minus 10x plus 1 equals 0 by completing the square. Remembering our goal, let's fit the terms on the left side into our soon-to-become square, breaking the minus 10x in half. We also have a plus 1 that we can picture as an extra piece in there, and it's all equal to 0. Pause the video and think about how we'll make this square whole. We know the sides of the square would need to be x minus 5 and x minus 5, which means we need a 25 in that bottom box to complete the square. How can we get that 25? We already have a 1, so we can just add 24 on both sides. 1 plus 24 gives us the 25 we need, and on the other side, we'd get 0 plus 24, which is 24. Now our square is complete. Next, let's rewrite our equation in the desired form. The left side becomes x minus 5 times x minus 5, which is x minus 5 squared, and we then isolate x by taking the square root of both sides, remembering that plus minus. The square root of 24 is irrational, so we simplify it by splitting it into the square root of 4 times the square root of 6, which simplifies to 2 square root of 6. Finally, let's add 5 on both sides. We can't combine 5 with the radical, so we leave it on the side. Mathematicians would put that 5 in front of the plus minus, since that's considered proper math grammar. This last one is to try for yourself. Pause here to solve x squared minus 8x plus 12 equals 5 by completing the square in your guided notes. We'll check your work when you're done. We first build our area model, which will give us side lengths of x minus 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16, so we need a 16 in that right bottom box. Since we already have a 12, we can simply add 4 on both sides. Our equation can then be rewritten as x minus 4 squared equals 9. We take the square root of both sides and cancel the square on the left. Square root of 9 is 3, so we're left with x minus 4 equals plus or minus 3. We add 4 to both sides and get 2 solutions. The first is negative 3 plus 4, which is 1, and the second is 3 plus 4, which is 7. With practice, completing the square can be quite an efficient tool. Remember, the goal is to transform the quadratic equation into the form x plus p squared equals q. We can do that with an area model by making the side lengths equal, which usually involves adding a constant term that completes the square. Once you have the equation in the desired form, we isolate x by taking square roots. And always remember the plus minus. So, there you go. You now have 3 methods for solving quadratic equations: factoring, the quadratic formula, and completing the square. Mastering all 3 will make you invincible against any quadratic that stands in your way. Once you've finished up your guided notes, check out the additional practice in your PDF. After that, all that's left is the online practice. In the next lesson, we'll be solving some more complex equations by completing the square, so make sure to practice our new method. See you next time!
Hey!